Aaliyah Jones is the VP of Sales and Marketing for Becker Burnbun International. She knew that with the division's portfolio of 34 projects, she would need a strong and talented marketing director for this global consumer products company. With the help of HR, she has narrowed it down to two people: Molly Ashworth, a brand manager on her team in the cleaning division, and Ed Yu, a rising star from BBI's beauty division. Molly was someone Aaliyah had previously worked with and thought she'd be ready for the challenge. Molly had been the head of a new subscription service 2 years prior and had shown significant growth. The customers loved the product and platform which it was based on. Aaliyah was aware of Molly's strengths and weaknesses as she personally coached her throughout the project 2 years ago and felt she was fit for the role. Ed was also another high competitor. As a brand manager in the beauty group, he had revived a 20-year-old makeup remover product line and increased sales by 60% over those 3 years. He was matched 96% for the job by HR's new analytics team, while Molly was only matched at 83%. The goal of the analytics was to inform hiring, promotion, and compensation decisions. Aaliyah has reflected on her interviews with both Ed and Molly. Ed showed up late, although not his fault, and discombobulated. This drew Aaliyah to have an immediate comparison, or rather difference, to Molly because she was always steady and calm. While Aaliyah asked Ed why the job interested him, he was able to give a sharp and clear answer that Aaliyah liked. The second question she asked him regarded what he had learned in the beauty department would apply how would that apply in the cleaning department. This was important because even Aaliyah's boss wanted her to work more closely with her peers. His answer was that he would use an in-field customer research approach as well as possibly partnering with anthropologists. From these answers, it was clear to Aaliyah that he had done his homework, was smart and ambitious, and knew BBI's business well, seemed to be eager to learn. Aaliyah had doubts as she felt there was no sense of dynamism or entrepreneurial mindset that she knew Molly had. When Aaliyah met with Aunt Molly, she immediately felt how different the vibe was. She already knew Molly, so it was less of an interview and more of a meeting/catch-up. Christine, Aaliyah's boss, had told her to ask similar questions of both Ed and Molly, but Aaliyah felt weird asking these questions as she already knew the answers to them. Regardless, Molly said from the beginning she wanted to be treated as a real interview, and proceeded with answering the questions as if they weren't close colleagues. With each response, Molly answered it in a sense of warmth and self-awareness, which Aaliyah felt that Ed was lacking. She successfully wowed Aaliyah in her answers and thought they were polished and thoughtful. After the farewell of the colleague Anne, Aaliyah met with Christine and Brad, who was data analyst. Christine knew that Aaliyah was leaning more towards Molly, but Christine and Brad noted that there was more data to it. When analyzing their emails and who they kept in touch with, Ed was interacting with key people from different departments, while Molly only communicated with people in her department. Christine knew that one chart isn't going to sway her opinion, but the data should count for a significant portion of the decision. Christine said that they should be confident in the decisions that the algorithms are reasoned, strong, and less biased. However, to counter this, Brad said that the data is not without its own fault. There is no 100% certainty even with the 3 people they had already used to promote. In this situation, Christine seems totally in agreement with the analysis that the program is giving, while Brad seems a bit more weary and doesn't trust it completely just yet. Aaliyah gives an honest answer, saying she wishes she understood the algorithm better to base her opinion and decision on it. She wishes that Christine would explain the algorithm better, but Christine told Aaliyah to focus on the candidates rather than completely understanding. Christine further says the algorithm shouldn't replace judgment, rather surface qualified people that otherwise wouldn't be noted, and it's to help make less biased opinions. Aaliyah counters this, saying that the algorithm already has bias into it, but regardless of it, it can be seen as a pro or a con. The final piece of data that Ed was seen as a bigger risk of leaving the job if he didn't become his, which would be a lot bigger loss in itself. When determining what the experts have said, they agreed that Aaliyah should have gotten more clarity on the data was really determining and what the bias was. Aaliyah needs to decide what specific characteristics she's looking for in this position. And whatever she decides, she needs to own the decision and be able to articulate why she made said decision. An expert discussed how Google hires their people based on data and analytics said that they have seen the limits that come along with it. They realize that they need to change the way to think of hiring in general by, quote, helping people to make decisions based on data and analytics, end quote. It is true that Aaliyah should trust her instincts, but she also trust the algorithm? Another expert says that only her, a human, can know what is needed for the position, and the algorithm can't always see all of that. She needs to look at the team as a whole in her analysis. She is also completely fair in questioning that she has a bias towards a woman she has previously worked for. It can be that she has a bias or that she doesn't want to take a risk with Ed. Gender also plays a role and has to be considered in this. The expert questions that if Molly doesn't get the role, she may not get another role, like in the future. Studies show that men overtly get picked over women for managerial roles, and this factor must come into play. All in all, this is a tough decision to make. I think Aaliyah should set aside her own personal opinions of the people in question to be hired, and should consider how well they will be in this role. Take into consideration their interviews, the AI match list, and then finally see how they are as people and decide from there who is the best fit.